Good evening. Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for Monday, the 13th of June 2022, about 6:40 p.m., something in that area. Taken away from it all, we have tornado warnings in downtown Chicago. It is so rare. All the sirens been going off and everything, TV getting knocked in, and they've got the warnings coming up. I've never seen one hit my area of Chicago, and I've lived here just about my whole life. But you never know. It can happen. I'm in a safe area. I'm in a studio. Believe me, there's no outside windows and stuff for me to worry about. So let's talk about today, because it's violent. And the market is adjusting to the simple fact that inflation is out of control. It might have peaked, a lot of people thinking, and it's possible. I don't know. They're also talking that labor is so strong that they got to slow demand down because people have so much money. They're still buying the goods, and there's problems there. Okay, they can do that. And now you've got J.P. Morgan today, Barclays today, Jefferies today, all coming out, and what do they want to do? They're saying a 75 basis point hike instead of 50 at the upcoming meeting. Here's Ira. I don't know if it's 50, 75, or even a full point. I know the Fed is under a lot of pressure. The Fed likes to be conservative and doesn't like to trip the markets up. That's the nature of it. Could they pull off a surprise to get ahead of the curve? Of course they could. I'm not foolish enough to say they can't. We saw today that the swap market, that's where they figure out interest rates going forward. They're building in through September that the Fed's going to add 175 basis points. It's 1.75% interest. Did you see mortgage rates shot up? Okay, you can't get a mortgage. There's no point in it. You let this panic go by you. They'll settle back as traders adjust to whatever it's going to be. This is a very, very dangerous time. So, why go into a Fed meeting? It's the first thing you're going to hear me say on this Wednesday, not knowing what's going to be said. Number two, what's going to be said in the press conference. It could be different than the statement. Fed chairs do that. And how the world's going to react, because when we get the press conference at 1:30, it's nighttime in Asia. Europe's already out to dinner. Remember, they're 6 hours ahead of us roughly, so it's 7:30 at night when it begins. Most traders aren't sitting there at their desks at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night doing much. And volume in the evening is never as big as it is during the day. Another problem for the big traders. I let the yin-yang happen. That means it comes out, everybody goes, oh, look at this, oh my gosh. Then we see what it does. It comes back in the morning, and we either have the same thing or something totally different. I don't know which way it's going to be. So let's go to the charts and take a look at what we have. On the S&P, and I still get people writing me, are you sure it's a bear market? I'm sure it's a bear market. You're way down. Just take a look at how much you're down. You were in a bear market before today. I mean, how many stocks? Apple's down 35%, all right? This is one of the best. What's Amazon down? I can go on and on. The market's in a bear market. I know some of you hang on for the 20%. Who's the fool that made that up anyways, all right? Does 23% make it? 17% on certain years? Come on. So let me get here and see if it'll keep my fingers moving. When we look at the market, you can see how it's broken down, and finally it's under this area here, and there's nothing back here going into the first of the year. It's a new area, all right? That means it's just falling, and it's a free fall. The trend is down, lower highs, lower lows. You're under the 18-day average of closes, and have been now for the past 3 trading sessions, including today, 4 if you include tonight. So the market's under a lot of pressure there. But magically, where's it finding support? The Bollinger Band. 95% of the time, the market will stay within the algorithm called a Bollinger Band. Use it. Learn how to play with it. It's very important. Match it up with momentum. Now, I use slow stochastics. My values are a little different than your charts are. You have to be a subscriber of mine, a paid subscriber, and I will give you what to do with yours to make it act like mine. It's really simple, but that's what it is. This is the one I always use, and this is where you're at. It's oversold into the Bollinger Band. This is where pros should be taking money off the table, not adding in front of the FOMC meeting. Identical thing in the NASDAQ. Identical thing in the Dow. I mean, I'm a broken record because that's it. And finally, the Russell. It took it all day, but it joined the parade. This morning, when I did my subscriber video at 5:30, it didn't want to drop down with everything else. It later did during the day. And that gives everything, they've hit their downside targets. Hitting a downside target is a short cover signal, not a go long. It's also a signal for me, I don't know about you, that going short under that Bollinger Band could be very bad for your financial health because 95% of the time you will trade within the bands. In the VIX cash, you're up. That's nice, but you're not up to where you were. This was a 38 and a 37 reading over here. The most recent reading was nearly about a high 36s. So you're coming up, but you're not at 50. This isn't capitulation. That's what's wrong. I'm watching on TV as people are talking, well, the VIX is now in the high 30s. This could be where it capitulates. Nonsense. Nonsense. History doesn't show that. History shows to get a real capitulation, you get a panic where nobody wants to own anything anymore. The VIX soars, it gets out of control, 40s, 50 range. Then I think you got the shot at a capitulation. But who am I? It's just my opinion. In the T-bond market, a higher high, lower low. Number one, you're trying to embed. So after the FOMC meeting, the market is going to be saying go short again. All right, this meeting can set the Fed up for a very aggressive policy. Unfortunately, the Fed did the wrong thing. To appease the market, the Fed chair said, yes, we are penciling in 250-point hikes. He should have just said, we're looking to be aggressive the next couple of meetings. Don't mention a number. I know the press wants to corner you. Now you got your open thing. Now he said 50 points. I listen word to these meetings and what he says in speeches and so on. He didn't say we have to do it, but that's the door. Say nothing. We're going to be aggressive. That gets real interesting. And then they get mad at him because he won't tell them what he wants to do. Then they say he's not being transparent. So he's sort of cornered on this meeting. They can come out of it by looking at the dot plots, which we're going to focus on right after that meeting. I promise you're going to see on TV, everybody's going to be on the dot plots. You never know who's doing the plot, right? But gives you an idea how aggressive they think they should be for the upcoming meeting after this one as well. That could be where they get a lot more aggressive. It's hard to know. We don't know that the CPI readings, the next group that we're going to have, won't show that CPI has, in fact, peaked, and you don't have to get that aggressive. If he's as data-based as I think he is, he's got a problem. He's got to say to himself, what do I do with all this? And I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. It's a rough call. 10-year notes, I'm going to repeat, you don't go short even with an embedded reading developing under a Bollinger Band. Wait for the market to give you your opportunity or don't make the trade in it. That's my recommendation. Dollar index, overbought, over the upper band, but it's a breakout. What do I mean by that? You're going to say, what the heck's he saying? Well, you got two moves over the upper Bollinger Band where both of them are in the top quadrant. You'd have to get back under these lows through here to say that that's not. So on pullbacks, I think it's going to be stronger than you think. Now, I love a breakout that is this, much narrower. And then you get those type of moves. They really take off. This is a bit too wide for me to call it other than a semi breakout, okay? I'll use the word semi. In the eurocurrency, under the Bollinger Band, now I would never tell you to go short like that. British pound, same thing. And you have the Bank of England meeting coming out on Thursday. Okay, so I guess we should sell into that and hope that the Bank of England just keeps it going? No. I'm going to go have a hamburger that time, and I'm just going to watch. Here you go with a disaster, Bitcoin. I thought 25,000, and I mentioned it here, was your next stopping spot. It went through that like nothing. I don't know where the next number is. I'm going to have to go back and really study the chart. There's a number. I just haven't done the research. I heard one noted analyst say it's 8,000, but I don't know. I want to go look at it myself. This is going to be very difficult to get through. So it's got a whole series of problems. It didn't help today that one of the exchange is that lends money against these and all, shut down, intra-market. Whoa, what's that about? Are they out of money? All this stuff is difficult. But this was just recently a $70,000 market. It is now sitting tonight at 22,425, and it has as many followers probably as it did at 70,000. Don't forget that. That is not a reason to be a buyer. In Brent versus WTI, the $4 difference seems to be acting like a bit of a resistance between the two. You did not lose your embedded reading, and the Brent still looking powerful. Did you see Libya? I wrote about it this morning in my early morning update and did it in the morning subscriber video that we'll talk about in a moment at 5:30 this morning. Libyan oil production, which a year ago was 1.2 million barrels a day, is currently 100,000 barrels a day with nothing on the immediate horizon that says it's getting bigger. You can't make up that million barrels a day. I know you think you can. You can't. The Saudis, Qatar, all these countries don't have the facility to do that. They've already agreed to one hike. How are they going to get to this other? That's why they say, we'll give you that other 450,000 barrels a day. Sure you will. And Russia, with its lost production. This is what's wrong with American policy. Higher high, lower low. Now, WTI, haven't lost the embedded reading. You could, but you haven't. Keep your eye on that one. Gasoline, I was wrong. Overstayed the hand. Could have come out many times and instead didn't do a very good job of it. Happens. I thought it was going to hang on and not lose its embedded reading today. All day long, and kept watching oil going, boy, they don't want to own this. Natural gas has no trend. It's just sort of caught in the sideways action of the market at this point in time. So, you watch it, you try to figure out what do you do. But that was my aggravating trade of the day. And, people like to know when you're not happy with something when it shows up, and I certainly wasn't. Now, let's see if I can get this to come in for us right through here. That should do it. All right. I'm learning my new toy. And it takes a while to learn these things. So whether you're trading the futures or the ETFs, because a lot of the ETFs are based on the futures, each day I record 40 charts of each, walk you through what's going on. So if you're trading USO, I had clients writing me today on USO, Ira, because the market was down, losing its embedded reading, and I said, you got to stay for the last 2 minutes of trade and see what it does. Turn itself right around into a nice profit on the day, one of the few markets. Learn how to do this, and that's what I do. I reinforce every morning the principles that I know about charting, and I teach you everything I know in here. If you take the courses, you're way ahead, because I'm not going to be the course for you. I'm going to be the reinforcement for the course over and over. We cover everything, specific trades, ideas, where to go. The guarantee is, I just said, I'm honest. I'm going to have losers. Who doesn't? Get serious. If you're a trader of any type, nobody can have winner upon winner upon winner. It doesn't exist, okay? Including Warren Buffett. Nobody has it. It doesn't exist. But you try to manage the money. You try to come up with game plans and ideas and reasonable dollar risks. Given the risk in the market, you decide, hey, is this for me, isn't it? Or I'm a sounding board. I like it. Can you write me as a subscriber and ask me specific questions? I get them all day long. I write back as soon as I get time. I love to do it. Sometimes I'll create a small video for you. So I'll get the chart and say, why are you saying this? Look at this. Send it to you. It's under a minute to do it. Not even that. It takes me about 30 seconds to 45 seconds to do one. And you've got it, and boom, instead of writing you a long part to it, I'm able to talk. In 45 seconds to a minute, you get a lot done. So, IraEpstein.com, go to the word research. Up here, just take your cursor, move it to the top. Again, you'll see an icon. Give it a click, research. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.